I think Loki is a very interesting character because he is more than what meets the eye. You just never know if what you see is what he actually feels, or if it's just what he wants you to see. And I'm not talking about his projections. Of course, they do play perfectly into this character trait, but even without his projections, it's sometimes really hard to be certain what he truly feels or truly has planned. But the layers of this amazing character don't stop there. And this next layer is, I think, the reason why we don't just think that Loki is an interesting character, but where we begin to love him. Because while he tries to fool you, I think you can't help but notice that feeling that the person he tries to fool you into believing he is a lot more evil than what Loki is in reality. And you start to wonder if he's maybe not only fooling you, but is also trying to fool himself into believing that he's evil. Because every so often we see that behind his facade and his projections actually lies a person that loves his mother, I think also loves his brother, and generally wants to be loved by people. And convincing yourself that you're evil probably makes it easier to deal with past traumas or the fact that people don't love you, but actually many of them hate you. And I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist, but that's just what I feel and why I really connect with Loki as a character. And everything I just described about his character, I think doesn't become more apparent in any other movie but Thor: The Dark World. Except for maybe the Loki series, but that's kind of an unfair comparison because while I love that series, of course in a series you have a lot more time to explore character traits, and of course that series is solely about Loki and not Thor. In Thor: The Dark World, we have so many scenes where Loki is in, and I think it just checks all those boxes that show his layered and nuanced character. For example, in the beginning, when he explains to his father that what he did in New York isn't different from what his father did in the past. And it, again, gives him that nuance, those layers where you're like, okay, he's not just evil, but he believes that what he did is just exactly what his father did. And yeah, it just adds to the character. And in this movie, we again see how much Loki resents his father and persists on the fact that he's not his son. But then we also get that amazing scene with his mother, where his mother confronts him with the fact that in that case, she's also not his mother. And we see how much that gets to him. And Tom Hiddleston doesn't pull off crazy expressions, but I think his acting brilliance really lies in the subtle details. Like, Loki's always very smooth, so I feel like when he suddenly stops and has kind of a jitter in his motion, we see that, oh, that hit him, that caught him off guard, that hit him emotionally. And it's so important to see that with a character that you want to care about, that's more than just a villain, to see that, oh yeah, he has a soft spot and some things do actually hit him, but at the same time you see how much he tries to not let you see that hit him. It's really amazing. And that subtlety in his acting, in his emotions, in his facial expressions is also what I think makes the scene where he finds out that his mother died so amazing. Because in the moment he finds out, his face as it turns to the camera, it's almost emotionless. Kind of he's processing it, but doesn't want to show any emotions yet. But then when he's turned with his back to the camera, we see a sudden outburst in emotion as he flicks all the furniture through his cell. And with other characters, that maybe wouldn't say much, but when you never see an emotional outburst of a character and he always tries to play off his emotions and kind of conceal them with smart jokes or smart answers, when you see an outburst like that, it's so powerful, and we see that he truly cared about his mother. And if it wasn't clear that he cared about his mother in that scene, it definitely becomes clear when Thor visits him later. And first Loki keeps up his facade, kind of his guard, but then when he eventually turns off the illusion, his projection, we see Loki at his emotional low point. He looks really rough and teared up, and we never saw him like that. He's always smooth, has that smile of his, always has a clever answer, but there we really see, wow, there's more to this character. He really feels a lot of emotions, although he doesn't usually show them to us. So while this movie gives us a lot of insights into the emotional side of Loki, which I absolutely love, we also still get that classic Loki charm, which of course is also a vital part of the character and makes him great. And I think my favorite example for that is when Jane walks up to him and is deservingly so very mad at him for what he did in New York, and then he says this.
That was for New York.
I like her.
That's such a cool response also. And with that smile, I mean, it just makes you want to say, you know what, Loki, it's all good, we're still bros. And another big part of Loki's amazing character is for sure the connection with his brother, and we also get a lot of that in this movie. I just love seeing the two of them try to escape Asgard and how Thor learned to keep his emotions in check when it comes to Loki, even threatens to kill him, and I think my favorite line is probably this.
You lied to me. I'm impressed.
Oh my god, I love it. I love it. So while they don't really trust each other on like a day-to-day basis, I feel like deep down they both know that when shit gets real, they can both count on each other. And that just makes that brotherly connection so powerful. So while I just touched on several scenes in this movie that illustrate different parts of Loki's character in a very nice way, I think there's one scene that just sums it all up brilliantly, and it's when Thor and Loki fight against the Dark Elves. And before I talk about why in my opinion this scene just perfectly summarizes the character, let's watch some of the important parts of that scene together.
You still don't trust me, brother? Would you?
That's fair.
No, I wouldn't.
Ooh, what? Oh right, that's part of the play. Okay, so Jane's fine now. Oh, nice. Oh, that is awesome. Can he destroy it? No, right? I'm not even fighting them. Ooh! Loki saved Jane. Ooh, damn. Thor would have actually lost. Oh. Uh-oh.
I didn't do it for him.
I didn't do it for him. Yeah, beautiful, Loki, beautiful. Well done. Well done. So first of all, I love how the scene starts off with that brotherly humor, joking about how if Loki was in Thor's shoes, he probably also wouldn't trust Loki. So yeah, giving us that humor and just brotherly history. And then of course, we get the fake betrayal. So at first glance, so basically what meets the eye on a surface level, this betrayal could seem totally legit. I think it's something that we would have thought Loki could do. But then, of course, we get kind of the reverse betrayal, or see that it's a fake betrayal. And then they actually end up working together beautifully. For that fight scene, they trust each other. Like they needed to first of all trust each other to have that fake betrayal. Like think about the amount of trust Thor needed to have in Loki to fake that betrayal, and that Loki wouldn't actually, you know, use the situation to make it suddenly a real betrayal, although he told Thor that it was going to be fake. You know what I mean? They work together beautifully, they have each other's back, and yeah, it's wonderful to see the teamwork between brothers. So far, that basically touches on the first and second layer of his character. So like first layer is what meets the eye, the betrayal of Thor. And then second layer is like, oh no, it's not how it seemed at first glance. He did actually end up working together with Thor. But my favorite moment in this scene is what touches on the third layer. So that what actually makes me love Loki as a character. And that's when he actually ends up saving Jane, even risking his own life in the process. And you have to keep in mind that shortly before that, he was complaining to Thor, or explaining to Thor, that Jane is a ridiculous partner and that she's mortal and that he should get somebody else. And now suddenly Loki, who in the Avengers was all like, I'm a god and you are all beneath me, suddenly risks his life to save this mere mortal Jane Foster, but he does it because he knows how much Jane means to his brother. And I'm getting goosebumps while I'm saying this. Like, oh, I just love these layers of a character when he like seems like selfish and all that, but then when it really comes down to it, you see that kind of like that chink in the armor where he's like, oh, he just did something really heroic. So yeah, absolutely love that. And really, that's why that scene, it really touches on all the layers for me. But the scene doesn't end there. Let's not forget that Thor actually ends up saving Loki's life, and Loki probably also saved Thor's life by killing the Dark Elf and getting revenge for his mother in that moment. And although Loki did really love his mother, probably also loves his brother, and probably was very happy that his brother freed him out of prison to get revenge for his mother, he still didn't hesitate to use those circumstances to fake his death, fool Thor again, and try and get his hands on the throne. So I don't know, is that like a fourth layer? You decide. So those are the most important reasons why I absolutely love Loki and why I think Thor the Dark World brilliantly touches on all these character traits. And what can I say? I can't wait to finally get to that moment in my MCU rewatch series to rewatch the Loki series. But yeah, that's still far away. So for now, I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you in the rest of my MCU rewatch series. Bye.